Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Point of Attack podcast. I'm your host, Bill Anderson. I wanted to get into a few things today. We have big stories happen over the weekend. I know I'm a few days behind in this, but I am just getting started. So I really want to talk about the Micah Parsons trade to the Green Bay Packers and what it means for the Packers and what does it mean for the Cowboys. I'm not really sure. I don't know if any of us are sure. But what it means for the Green Bay Packers, they had a top 10 defense last year. Not sure everybody realizes that. End of the season didn't go real well. I am a Packer fan. See, Packer fan. But here's what we're going to have. Last year they were really, really good at taking the ball away, and I think that was the big contributor for them becoming a top 10 defense. But they just couldn't really generate a pass rush. So, what does adding Micah Parsons do? Well, as you know, if you're a Packer fan, we've been complaining now for 2 years about Lucas Van Ness and how he hasn't lived up to that first round pick potential. And of course, as fans, we always have this just ridiculous expectation that first round draft picks are always going to be superstar, Hall of Fame caliber players right out the gate, and that rarely is the case. Sometimes, I mean, you get J.J. Jefferson, Jamar Chase, J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt. Those guys, you could see it right from the start. They were freaking stars. They popped right off your television screen when you were watching them play. But it's just not the average case. Now, you bring in Micah Parsons, and Green Bay does have a pretty good pass rusher on the edge there with Rashawn Gary. But you add Micah Parsons, and I think that Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness are going to have really big years this year. I think you're going to see them really pop. They're going to hit the passer. Everybody's going to be doubling Micah. So it's going to leave a lot of one-on-one battles for Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness to come in and clean things up. Now, is their run defense going to struggle a little bit losing Kenny Clark? I think it probably will a little bit. But I also have faith that they're going to figure something out through the year to get that shored up and get it fixed. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, where are they in all of this? And what was really Jerry Jones thinking? I just, for the life of me, can't figure this out. That how did he only get 2 first-round picks in Kenny Clark? It really just seems like he could have got so much more. And I can't remember who I was listening to, because I've listened to like 15 podcasts since this trade happened, trying to break things down and get some understanding. And I've heard guys say they've talked to general managers across the NFL, and a lot of them have said, well, we'd have given a lot more than that for Micah Parsons. So what was he doing? What was he thinking? I mean, these first round picks, you get out of the top 10 in the NFL draft in most drafts, and out of the top 10, yeah, you're drafting guys in the first round, but they could very easily be second round guys as well. So what are you getting? Chances are Green Bay is going to have a pretty good year this year, even though they're playing in a really tough NFC North where the Bears look to be ascending. The Vikings, you don't know what they have in J.J. McCarthy. Can he run that offense effectively enough for them to win games? We know their defense is going to be good. We know their line is going to be good. They know their wide receivers and their running game is going to be pretty good. But can J.J. McCarthy? So that is a question mark. What are the Bears going to be? First-year head coach Ben Johnson. We know he's a great offensive coordinator, but what is he when he's got to run the whole show? How's he going to handle all the 3 o'clock in the morning phone calls because one of his guys got picked up for OWI? It's just a whole big thing. You're handling everything. As an offensive coordinator, you're in charge of the offense. That's it. how's he going to deal when he's got to deal with the defensive coordinator and defensive coordinator not doing things he wants him to do? How's he going to handle that? We don't know. Can he got to hold on to the ball, reduce the sacks that Caleb Williams seems to do? It looked pretty good in one preseason game when they played the Chiefs and he started getting blitzed. It didn't look so good. We'll find out next Monday night when the Vikings play the Chicago Bears. We know that Brian Flores is going to go after Caleb Williams. He loves to blitz. Detroit, where are they going to be? Are they going to struggle losing those two coordinators to head coaching jobs? That we'll all find out. I don't believe Detroit's going to be, a 15-2 kind of year. They're not going to. Don't see that happening. You can't lose that quality of offensive coordinator and be able to maintain the level of play that you had the year before. We'll find out. So that really leads me to believe, because as far as star power goes in the division, Green Bay has the least of it. So I really do believe that the Packers this year, with this addition, are going to win the division. I really believe that last week I didn't think they were going to win the division. This week I think they're going to win the division. They're going to really shock some people. I think they make a deep playoff run. And so what does that mean for Jerry Jones? He's not going to get an early first-round draft picks the next 2 years from those two picks he gained from Green Bay. So is he, like he said in his press conference, is he going to step up, go out, get some players that can help him now, or is he going to hold on to him for next year's draft? Now, he did just pay, in the last couple of years, they paid Dak big money. They paid CeeDee Lamb big money. So what does that mean? Is he going to hold on to those picks and try to get one of the this is supposed to be a big quarterback draft coming up this next year. So is he going to pick it up? Is he going to grab some new players this year, or is he going to hold on to them and try to use those draft picks as leverage to move up in next year's draft to get one of those quarterbacks? Because Dak is a really good quarterback. He's not the guy that elevates those around him. And so when you can't elevate those around you and you need everything around you to be great, I don't think he's the guy you want to, cling to. Plus, he's had injuries. He got hurt again, missed most of the season last year. He was already, his mobility was not what it once was. And so what are they going to be? What is Dak going to be? Is he who you're building your future around? I don't think so. He's 10 years into the league, 9 or 10. So where are the Cowboys going? What are they doing? I hear people all over it. Like I said, I listen to a whole bunch of these podcasts, and we got people that are going, well, the Packers won this trade. Jerry's awful. Jerry's bad. And I wouldn't want Jerry Jones to be my general manager, but let's be honest, he has done a pretty good job drafting. They don't really go after free agents anymore. He doesn't have that. If y'all watch The Gunslinger or the Jerry Jones Gambler thing on Netflix, it was a really great documentary on them on the Dallas Cowboys, mostly focusing on the 1990s and then how things kind of fell. But back in the 90s, I think when he was really great, he had Jimmy Johnson helping out. And I think Jimmy Johnson now today would admit that it wasn't all him and it wasn't all Jerry, but it was their collaborating together that was able to build that team up through the draft, develop those players, and go on to win 3 out of 4 Super Bowls in the 90s. I think they would have won a whole lot more had Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones not had that split, but they did. This is the way it is. And hey, you know what? Maybe my Packers benefited from that because they wound up winning the Super Bowl in 96. So, Super Bowl 31, go Pack go. Anyway, moving forward. So, I don't know who won this trade and who lost the trade. It actually could wind up being really equal for both people, or for both teams. In the long run, I think Dallas could use this to help bolster and get things started over again. And Green Bay could catapult this into a Super Bowl. And if they do, it was worth it, right? I mean, I would trade a couple of first-round draft picks for a known commodity anytime the opportunity came up. Every time you're drafting, you go, well, we're pretty sure this guy is going to be really, really good, but we don't really know how his game translates into the NFL. There's a lot of first-round busts. The NFL's full of rosters are full of rookie free agents that signed, worked their way up through practice squads, and eventually got themselves onto an NFL roster full-time. So there's a lot of first-round picks that you just don't know. So I'll take a known commodity every year versus an unknown commodity in a rookie. You don't know what you're getting. Look at Jordan Love. All the Packer fans thought he was going to be the worst pick that the Packers ever had, and because we wanted that wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers. We had just lost the NFC Championship. Just get Aaron Rodgers a wide receiver and all will be well. And Goody trades up and takes Jordan Love, and Packers fans were pissed. They were not happy. And now a lot of them there's a lot of fans out there that aren't sure about Jordan Love, but I think he has definitely lived up to that first-round billing. We'll find out more this season, as he was hurt literally all last season. And now we'll find out more as what he is. Not to mention, literally they led the league on third down drops last season by, I think it was 34% is what I saw. Now, moving on, I promised in my introductory podcast that I'm just going to have some thoughts in that on different things, and maybe you guys can really help me with this. What is it about some of these players in the league? Look at Matt Stafford. You knew pretty early in his career that Detroit just was not going to put all the pieces around him that they needed to. I mean, they had one of the all-time greats running backs in the 80s and 90s, late 80s and early 90s, well, through the 90s, with Barry Sanders. And they reached an NFC Championship game, I believe it was in 92. The Detroit Lions, through Matt Stafford's career and before that, never really showed that they were ever going to put the pieces around him. So why did he stay there so long? You always hear from these guys, they're hungry, they want to win a Super Bowl, they want to win a title. So why do we have so many players going and taking the money and winding up on garbage football teams literally their entire career? Right? Finally, Stafford had enough, and he said, get me out of here. But, man, the miles and the hits that guy took in Detroit, I mean, I'm glad Matt Stafford got himself a Super Bowl with the Rams, but my goodness, the beating he took on. I mean, he couldn't even practice this whole preseason and training camp because he was so beat up, and his back is beat up, his body's beat up from a career of abuse in Detroit. So why do these guys stick around? Is it pride? Is it, I'm going to be the guy that brings a title to Detroit? Or, whatever the city. J.J. Watt sticking it out in Houston. Houston's never been anything till now. Now they finally got a decent GM and a head coach that are building something, right? But J.J. Watt stuck around in Houston for all those years, finished up in Arizona. I know all us Packer fans wanted him to sign here, but he didn't. So, right? So T.J. Watt, he just got a big payday with the Pittsburgh Steelers. What have the Steelers done in the last 10 years that shows they're going to build a winning football team? I love Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin's one of the all-time greats, but the man cannot do offense. They can't build an offensive line. They keep bringing in. I love Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers did great things for the Green Bay Packers. He's one of my all-time favorite players. Not so much one of my favorite humans, but one of my favorite players we ever had. And I mean, they just keep getting these retread quarterbacks. Now, what are they going to do next year if after Rodgers has, they win 9 games this year? Are they going to go and try to get Joe Flacco? I mean, come on, guys. They'd almost be better off, to go go in a whole nother direction, have a bad year, get an early draft pick, get a quarterback. But but TJ Watt, is it the money? Do you think you're gonna be that guy that elevates Pittsburgh to a Super Bowl? No, you're just gonna be a really great player, a Hall of Fame player, and you're never gonna get that ring because you're gonna take all that money in Pittsburgh. I mean, heck, personally, I want to go to a winning team. Yeah, you might not get the contract. Like, look at Travis Kelce. He's making bank now between popularity he's gotten with him and his brother's podcast, between winning championships. After they started winning Super Bowls, he started getting commercials like crazy. Of course, now he's dating Taylor Swift, and of course, I'm sure that has its own financial benefits, just that alone. But it's when you're winning, maybe you don't get the best contract with your team, but you're going to get that money somewhere. And you have name recognition. You retire, you could probably go right into the Fox, CBS, ESPN, Amazon, whoever is streaming next, Netflix, whatever. Somebody's going to pay you some big bucks to go on and broadcast games. You still get to be around the game. So what is it about these guys that keeps them on these teams? Myles Garrett last year is like, I want out of Cleveland. I love Cleveland fans, but this ain't working. Cleveland comes in, we'll give you $1 billion. Okay, So does he want to win or does he want the money? And I know you have an agent that's telling you, hey, we need to take this. NFL players, especially NFL players, their careers are short, right? And you're not doing this for 50 years. You got to make your money now, and I get that. But winning cures everything. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think some of these guys would be better? Joe Burrow, how long is he going to stick around in Cincinnati? Will he, when this contract runs out, will he go, yeah, I'm getting out of here because I'm getting my ass kicked all the time? Or will he sign another contract? Or will he do the Carson Palmer thing and say, I don't want this. I got to get up. I don't want to be part of this organization anymore. It's a dumpster fire all the time. Once in a while, they get a great player that can lead them over the hump and get them to a Super Bowl. I've seen them in 3 or 4 Super Bowls in my life, 3 Super Bowls, and they can't win it. And Joe Burrow took them there with the worst offensive line in the NFL. Now they're paying Joe Burrow. They're paying Chase. So that's probably not going to happen. So give me your guys' thoughts. Email me, pointofattackpodcast@gmail.com. Email me, send messages on the apps. Let me know what you think. Put it on. I'm going to have this on YouTube. I'm going to have it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And just let me know what you think. Give me your ratings. Don't forget to rate, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. And let me know what it is. If there's topics you want me to talk about, I really want you guys to drive the show. So let me know what it is that you want to hear, and we'll talk about it. Thank you so much. This is my first full episode of the Point of Attack podcast. A lot more to come. You guys enjoy this football season. Have a good day. We'll talk to you next time.